Well, this is a further update. We've been in negotiations again this week, trying to move the issues forward. We've just finished today, and unfortunately the update today, as sometimes happens in these very serious negotiations, we seem to have taken a step back in the progress that we were making. I think it's fair to say that the negotiations have been undermined by senior managers in the business, either misinterpreting what's going on in these negotiations or effectively briefing against what we're trying to achieve in the negotiating room. And that, quite frankly, if we're going to make an agreement, that's got to stop, because that's disrupting these talks. And one of the key elements, if you're in this type of negotiation, is trust, is confidence and is integrity. And if those issues are being broken, then quite frankly it's impossible for talks to move forward. If we haven't got the trust with the people we're dealing with, if we haven't got the faith that the words we're negotiating will stick, will be honoured by the people that we're negotiating with, then of course they're not worth the paper that they're written on. So we all know that we're looking to get principles of security in place for our members. And if we are suspicious about the integrity of the company in those talks, then like I say, it's going to be very difficult for us to resolve the issues. We've got one more week of talks really. The clock is ticking. The business needs to understand that. I'm absolutely confident we've got the full support of our members, and I think we're on the right side of all the arguments. And if we're going to have a mutual interest solution, then the business needs to recognise that very quickly and move the issues forward. This week we've majored and tried to draw out some of the real key elements, other than words round the edges, the key principles that it is we're trying to nail. So if I take the issue of pay, the gap is still huge. We've not had an increase or an improved offer on pay. We've not had no indication. The business is saying they may make an improved offer if we make progress on words, but there's no indication of what that offer would be. So where we sit at the moment, I can't tell you whether the £250 lump sum, an improved offer, would be £300, or whether it would be a percentage increase in pay, which is of course what we would be looking for to maintain the standard of living of our members. Equally, we're getting no confidence that the company will seriously deal with the issue of average pay for part-timers. All those part-time members of ours that have been doing regular hours over and above what they're employed to do or their contract of employment says, when they go on annual leave, then they see their money drop because they've been doing regular hours, and we're saying that should be reflected in their holiday pay. Yes, there's issues going through the courts, but quite frankly for us, it's a moral issue which a company like Royal Mail should be responding to regardless of what the law is, and we've had no indication that we're going to move that issue forward. We've also got the issue of pipeline, which is fundamental to every single one of our members. And on the pipeline, to repeat, I've said it before, but if anything, they seem to have gone backwards on those talks. We were trying to establish, we're saying there should be a 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening operation. There should be your core delivery spans in the middle of that, and on the extremities, either earlier or later, we should be looking to build in other work. The company, however, seem intent on pushing everything later. Now this to the point that you could be talking about last letter on all our deliveries, rural or towns, being 5 o'clock or later in the afternoon. That's totally unacceptable. That was a massive impact on the people we represent, and we think it would fundamentally undermine the capability and the opportunities for growth for this company going forward, and it would accelerate the decline in letters, and ultimately we believe would be a negative impact on the USO, and we could lose the USO in its current format. So that's a massive issue which we felt we'd made progress on, which seems to have gone backwards. So we've ended the talks today with saying that they need to clarify exactly what they're saying, because our members need to have some sense of what their future job is going to look like if we're going to ask them to vote on any agreement at the end of these talks. So that's a major issue. again, it's one if we don't resolve, then I believe we will be in dispute, not dissimilar to the pay situation. And then, of course, we've got this issue of pensions. Now, on the issue of pensions, we're saying, first and foremost, the principle should be that are you prepared, Royal Mail, are you prepared to negotiate a new pension scheme that would be for all of our members? Don't forget they want to close the current defined benefit scheme. This is an opportunity to address inequality in pension provision for all of our members. It's the right time to do it. We've proposed an agreement which is pragmatic, which responds to the challenges in pensions world and facing workers in this day and age, and we want that to be for every single one of our members. Why shouldn't it be? Just because you joined this company after 2008 doesn't mean to say that you should get a lesser pension provision than anybody else. So a fundamental principle, and at the moment they can't answer that question. If anything, we lack confidence that they want to say that. We believe they want to say those people who started after 2008 stay in an inferior scheme, and if we do have a solution, it's only for people in the DB scheme. That's not where this union's coming from. We will never get another opportunity than this to ensure that everyone is treated the same, all of our members, in respect of pension provision. And if there's no movement on that, then quite frankly, we will be in dispute. So I'm sorry if this comes across a bit negative. I'm trying to be absolutely honest on where we are. I've just come out of those talks. So again, I'm trying to be measured and not be over emotional about it. I'm bitterly disappointed with what's going on. The management don't seem joined up, and they really need to take stock of what they're doing when they're going out to offices, senior managers, talking to our members. Because quite frankly, if we're not going to get an agreement, then my position is this. I'm the senior lead negotiator in these talks with the national officers, with assistance from the PEC as well. And quite frankly, if they're going to try and tie us up in talks while they're out there debriefing against what we're trying to achieve in a negotiating room, then we'd rather stop those talks and we'll come out and talk to our people and give our side of the story. And if that means we're going into dispute, then so be it. Trust, integrity and confidence are huge issues in these negotiations, and unless we've got confidence in them, and unless we believe the business is behaving in a way that's embracing those principles, then we will not be able to reach an agreement, and we will have to fight for what we want as a membership in a way that our union always has done. So I'm trying to, if things change next week, then that's brilliant. There's still 1 week to go, but the clock is ticking. We need to talk to our members. You need to keep the meetings going, keep the social media going, get on those WhatsApp groups. It's absolutely important because you'll get the information firsthand so that you can talk to the members, and a balanced view can be adopted by all our members when we say to them at some point, if this isn't resolved, you have got to pick sides. And if you don't pick the CWU, trust us, you will be forever accepting less.